Welcome JBA fans, I'm your host L5 and today we have my finals match actually for the JBA Season 2, and I'll be going over my team and just showing you the match. And so this is pretty intense. Like, I have my Mega Metacham nicknamed Sci-Fi because it's psychic fighting type, and Sci-Fi, that's a genre. So I have enough speed to outspeed Heatran with this, max attack, adamant, 60 HP because that's the leftover EVs I had for the speed tier that I wanted. I have Fake Out for the priority to try to help stop a potential Mega Altaria sweep, or just get chip damage on anything, Ice Punch, Drain Punch because I don't want him protecting on a high jump kick, and I don't really need the extra power for this matchup. Drain Punch does everything that I need. It also gets me some health back, and I have Toxic for his Cresselia, very intense I know. Now I have a Alomomola, the greatest Pokemon in the game right now. I have Rocky Helmet because going into this game I assumed that this thing's item was going to get knocked off by the Weavile regardless of what it is, so I figured may as well punish that with the Rocky Helmet. Yeah, so he takes 17% when he goes for the knockoff instead of leftovers. I just lose that and I don't really get anything out of it. Scald Wish, Protect, Toxic, standard EV spread. Don't want to fix what isn't broken, to be honest. Next up, the Green Lantern. This is my favorite Roserade nickname ever. I went for the defensive variant with Black Sludge, Technician. Why do I have Technician? That is completely a misclick. I'm supposed to have Natural Cure, but anyways. I have Double Hazard and Double Stab. I have basically a lot of special defense for his Jolteon, so that thing is never a threat, and then a lot of defense to make sure that I can at least eat a little bit of hits on the physical side, such as a +1 Altaria's Earthquake or something like that. I don't know if he's going to bring special or physical. I'm kind of leaning on the special side, but you never know. I want to be prepared for both, and Roserade can take on either kind. So then I also have Snorlax, nicknamed Big Bone, because that's what this guy is, very big and boned. Got the leftovers, Thick Fat, Curse Slacks, pretty standard spread. I just moved around a little bit of EVs from the standard spread just so I can be really cool. Then I have Return over Body Slam because it does a little bit more damage, and Body Slam para I'm going to be slower than everything anyways from Curse, and like, my Pokemon are already pretty fast versus this team regardless. I don't really need the paralysis, the extra damage is nice. Then I have Silence because Silence is golden, Shiny Steelix, very excellent leftovers, sturdy, Earthquake, Toxic, Heavy Slam, Stealth Rock. Actually, like, half my team has Toxic. I think that's pretty interesting. Earthquake is for Stab, Heavy Slam for the other Stab, Rocks because he doesn't really have the best hazard removal versus this thing, especially because Gligar is just going to get Toxic or it can't defog. One of the two is going to happen, and this thing has base 200 defense. The Earthquakes from Gligar are just going to bounce off. I do have the Impish nature because you get the most out of it rather than any other nature, and I don't really need the extra special defense or attack or anything, but I do have max special attack. This is kind of like a Mega Aggron spread, except it's not a Mega Aggron, you know. 4 attacks so I can hit marginally harder. You know, you never know when that's going to come in handy. Yeah. And I have Flygon with you, Flygon. Choice Scarf this time, no Yachi Berry to get crit through this time. Levitate as my ability of choice. I really didn't want anything else in this matchup. Earthquake, U-Turn, Outrage, and Iron Tail. Iron Tail is so I can Revenge Kill +1 Mega Altaria 75% of the time. And I have enough speed to outspeed a Scarftran, just in case he wants to bring that. 60 in defense rather than HP, so I can take an Ice Shard that much better. If I put it in HP, I wouldn't be able to take it quite as well from a potential Weavile. And yeah, that's pretty much the team. Pretty solid, not gonna lie. Yeah, let's move on to the game. Alright, and we are back with the game, and as you can see, Connor has decided to bring his Mega Altaria, Heatran, Feraligatr, Jolteon, Weavile, and Cresselia. Now Cresselia has actually come to every single game he's had for 2 seasons now. It's pretty intense, not gonna lie. Weavile, when we played during the regular season, was a very big threat, and so I really want to watch out for that. And for Alligator, always a huge threat with these Swords Dance, Dragon Dance, all sorts of setup opportunities. Mega Altaria, pretty intense also as well. Jolteon, not going to be an issue because I do have the Roserade pretty much just for it. I mean, Roserade was also good for Altaria, but in this matchup, Jolteon is good, really good for the Jolteon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure he's going to lead with the Heatran because he wants to get his rocks up ASAP so I can start whittling down my team. Flygon has a very hard time defogging versus his team in general, which is why I don't even have defog. I have Iron Tail instead, and it's Choice Scarf. So he's probably going to want to do that. I, of course, predict this immaculately and lead off with my Mega Medicham. Now, scouting for the Protect, I actually go for the Fake Out, pop the Balloon / scout for the Protect, and I know he's going to switch out into Cresselia, but I missed the Toxic, so that's pretty intense, not going to lie. I got into my Steelix to get those rocks up ASAP because I noticed he didn't bring his Gligar, so he doesn't really have any defog unless Mega Altaria is the defogger. Anyways, he goes into his Feraligatr, sets up an SD on my Toxic, and I'm like, oh, let me get the heck out of there. Go on my Alomomola, take 40% from Waterfall, that's crazy. Get the Rocky Helmet damage and the Toxic damage. I live the Crunch and go for the Wish, and now this is kind of a 50-50. I can Protect on his attack, and I will be good to go. Or he can Swords Dance on my Protect, and I would not be good to go. Now, I'm not feeling like risking my Alomomola, and I think he knows that. I'm just going to go for the Protect as he gets me with the Swords Dance, and that's pretty intense. I kind of have to look for something to sack, kind of. It took a while for me to decide, but I went into Steelix, and he didn't go for the Waterfall. I didn't expect him to go for the Waterfall, but it's good that he went for Crunch instead because that means my Steelix is still at a respectable amount of health. And he goes down to the Toxic. And now he goes into his Heatran, and at this point I'm like, he's probably going to set up the rock, so I go into my Mega Medicham as he misses Magma Storm. That's really good for me, really bad for him, kind of unfortunate. I am just going to go for the Drain Punch here as he switches into the Cresselia. I could stay and go for the Toxic, but I'm not going to risk a potential Thunder Wave or something like that. I'm just going to go out and get some leftovers on my Steelix. I go for the Heavy Slam, predicting him to go into the Heatran, trying to pop the Balloon, because the Balloon is kind of annoying at this point. My ways of beating Heatran are ground type attacks, and the Balloon kind of stops that, so I do want to pop that as soon as possible. And it's I'm just going to double out into my Medicham, once again predicting the Heatran, but he actually stays and goes for the Ice Beam. I'm going to Fake Out here just to waste a Screen's turn, as well as get a little bit of chip damage because he doesn't have leftovers, and I'm going to go out into my Snorlax and take literally nothing from the Ice Beam. And now I can basically go for a free return, as I do manage to pop the Balloon on Heatran. Now, last time we played, it wasn't confirmed in the game, but I think he told me after that he had Taunt Heatran just for Snorlax, because Curselax is a huge threat to his team, and so I kind of expected him to be Magma Storm, Taunt, all that sort of thing, so he can trap my Snorlax and completely destroy it. So I'm actually going to switch out into my Flygon, as he does go for the Magma Storm Connects this time, and it only does 31%, which means he's probably max HP, max speed, if my calcs are correct, which they probably aren't. I do go for the Earthquake because I know he has Protect, and he didn't really have a reason not to go for it, but instead he just hard switches into his Cresselia on my Earthquake. I lose a bit of momentum there, but it's completely fine. I can go into my Alomomola and throw out a Toxic because nothing really wants to take it besides the Heatran, which doesn't really beat Alomomola. And he goes out into his Jolteon now on my Wish, and I can just go right out into my Steelix, which is almost max Spadef, just doesn't have a boosting nature, and I can heal that right up. As he makes a nice switch, nice baton pass into his Heatran here, he misses the Magma Storm, and that's pretty big, kind of, I guess. Basically, my Steelix is at sturdy. I was getting this Earthquake off regardless, but if he hit that, and if he hit the next one after this, he would have a 3% Heatran, and I would be dead, whereas now it'll be the other way around. I'll have a 1% Steelix, and he will be dead. So The only thing that really matters in this case is that he has to kill my Steelix and I get a little bit of momentum. I actually save my Steelix because I know he's going for the Icicle Crash or the knockoff, and Alomomola can eat both of those, and I can save Steelix for sack fodder. So Almamola's in here, took 11% from the Icicle Crash, and I can just go for Scalds here, fishing for a burn as he reveals the Swords Dance. Now this is getting pretty spooky because Scald is doing literally nothing thanks to the light screen. It's going to do a little bit more now, 20%-ish. And do I get the burn? No. So he does go for the knockoff here. It does a fair amount. And I go for the Scald, and that leaves him down at 8%, and he's going to kill me with the next one. Can't really switch out into anything, and Alomomola has done its job at that point. It's dealt with 3 threats, basically. And it Toxic the Cresselia, I believe. Or was that the Steelix? I don't even remember. Anyways, I go out into my Medicham, and I just fake out here. If he had Protect, you know, the dream set of Protect, Swords Dance, Knockoff, Icicle Crash, then Flygon would have outsped, because that means he doesn't have Ice Shard. He really needs like 5 moves to sweep me with this thing, so that's pretty good. He goes into his Cresselia. If this thing is max defense, it is a roll, but I don't think it would be max defense because it's not Calm Mind, and I don't know. It's probably mixed defensive, so maybe it wasn't a roll, but if it was, I think it was still in my favor. Anyways, he does go down to the Ice Punch, and he goes on in the Jolteon, and Specs Jolteon does kill my Medicham, and Medicham is a great thing to revenge a special Altaria that can't set up speed. So I save that thing and go out into my Dream Lantern, and at this point the game is pretty much over because he goes for Thunderbolt, and I can just spam Sludge Bomb. And basically when he shows off the agility, that's some pretty interesting stuff. I do get the poison, which is going to matter a lot, and he's going to die to the next Sludge Bomb as he hits me with an HP Ice for literally no damage. And now I'm pretty sure a Fire Blast doesn't even kill, so I'm just going to go for the Sludge Bomb here, as he does reveal that he is Dragon Dance, and I don't know if he would live this, but I do get the crit regardless. And I do win Season 2 Championships of the JBA. So that's pretty intense, not gonna lie. And if the Sludge Bomb didn't crit and it didn't kill, because Spadef, well, mixed defense, Roserade is not the strongest thing in the world. I did have Fake Out in the back plus Scarf Flygon. There wasn't really any way I could lose that. And feels good to win the JBA. Season 1 I had a hand-me-down team, got to the finals and lost, so winning this season is pretty good, a very convincing 5-0. The Magma Storm misses kind of did matter a little bit in the differential, but I don't think it mattered too much in the long run, because I think I could have done without Medicham for the rest of the game if he like hit his Magma Storm and stuff like that. But you never know. You never know what could have happened, and yeah, that's going to be the game, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I will be uploading Season 3 of the JBA to this channel every week, and that's going to be pretty intense, not going to lie. My draft is looking very fun, and yeah, see you guys in that one.